Good morning, everyone. I'm just doing a quick follow-up video. I got two things to cover today. Um, First one will be a follow-up to the York video and, where is the hobby going? And one of the things, first off, that video within 72 hours had over 3,500 views. So a lot of people like to measure the popularity of York and want to know what's going on, especially if they couldn't attend. But a lot of the comments on there too, everybody was agreeing that you can't get into this hobby anymore, and it's just too expensive. And that side of things has to be disputed, because for me, I want to focus on doing things that you can keep uh, people under 18 involved and generate the interest. So how do you get an 18-year-old involved? Uh, First thing, and that's why I spent a lot of time in that last video with the Choo Choo Barn mobile van. That is a great thing, and it's not really just about trains if you think about it. I mean, you're teaching kids basic wiring, layout, construction, so you got art and practical knowledge all going. I mean, for me personally, when my dad taught me how to wire my train layout, that laid the foundation for everything else. I mean, I was no longer intimidated by house wiring or anything like that. Those kind of skills go a long, long way and far beyond the hobby. So, but how do you get a young person interested in the hobby, and how much will it cost? Well, for me, all my kids are in their 30s now, so they're not coming home and playing with the trains anymore. But I have a lot of neighborhood kids that my wife loves having the coffee clutches with the parents, and so the kids are over, and hey, we're in the train room, and weekends, if I can find somebody that's interested, I got plenty of kids under 10 that every time you come in the room, we're good for 45 minutes at least. But how do you get a young child in, and how much does it really cost to get into the hobby? At this point, and I've done this with many of my personal friends. You just start off with a 4x6 board, something that'll fit under a bed, and I usually put it on some casters, and you can start off with. I mean, I would always stay with 031 gauge track, but you can get a loop and a couple of switches for storage, or even a figure 8. And a 1033 transformer. You can get all that set up, and probably for under $200. And there are plenty of train sets out there that you can get for $150 also. So I mean, to get into the hobby is okay, $400, which to me doesn't seem like much. It still could be more, but you can still kind of get that down, especially secondhand. But if you look at all the post-war items these days, I mean, again, you get 2035s, you can get 2056s now. I mean, those engines are anywhere from $75 to $125 now, where 20 years ago you'd be looking at 170 to 225 for the same engines. So costs have come down on the pre-war just because the market is flooded, and a lot of that stuff is still new. So you can still get in to the hobby relatively cheap, but everybody looks at and says, oh, you can't get a $1,700 engine. Who's that going to be? Again, that's that rabbit hole that I already went down. But yeah, I don't see myself ever buying a $1,700 engine. I don't, too much to lose when it breaks. So anyway, but the other item on here is, I've alluded to it on my previous, is I have started the deconstruction of the layout, and I can already tell I'm going to be happy with it. Yesterday I started by removing the bridge elevated section in the front of the layout, and now the line of sight and seeing what's going on in the layout is much better, and it's going to be better for any future videos I make. So today will be some time-lapse activity about how I'm deconstructing this and getting ready to put a new face on top. You know, when you get to the back corners where the two mountains are, that is hollow under there, so that I can reach up if there was ever a derailment, because there are switches under there, and you know if there's a switch, there's going to be a derailment sooner or later. So that's all going to come off, and then I will reskin the table. I'm just going to get some 3/8 inch plywood and another layer of the insulation board. So I will put the 3/8 on top of this, and then put a new cover on top, and then put down the new layout, and it'll be a single layer, and there'll still be mountains in the corners, but there won't be trains running elevated anymore. So we'll do a slight elevation in the back, like probably the height of a 2x4, to put the Hellgate Bridge on, just so it is elevated a little higher than the rest of the tracks in that area. But other than that, that's where I'm going. So today begins the deconstruction. Keep you posted.